talking about the defense and how things change from week 2 to 3, how they have to change from week 3 moving forward.
I love his takes as he keep it 100 with you, right? Because I want to know about that meeting, right? Because that meeting is necessary.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Because when you hear fake news, right? We no fake news out here.
I like his pettiness.
Yeah, well, he's really concerned about the defense, though.
You should
about
be.
their ability to. He was like baffled by their inability to play zone.
There's Anthony Walker looked better yesterday, but they're devoid of the leadership that's required, right? Because I tell you, and I love Denzel Ward, I swear to God I do, right? And not just because he's a Buckeye, he plays hard, right? But as a player, what you cannot do is you have to understand that we're all on this ship together. We rolling in the same direction, even when it goes bad. You can't ever separate yourself from the ship, right? And say like, well, I did my thing and it wasn't. No, that has to get checked right there.
I'll ask you something that you guys weigh in on this. Maybe it's just I'm reading too much into it. Did he look disinterested at times to anybody else? And I'm going back to the long touchdown against the Jets.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
He gave up.
I saw it.
Of course he has no chance, but the one thing fans don't want to see is a corner that just got burned stop.
Yeah.
It's like
just
not. It's not like
I thought he played a good game yesterday.
It's
I thought
like-
he played better.
I thought at times there was one point where a receiver was going out of bounds, and he had a chance to hit him inbounds, and he just got close to sidelines and then sort of gave him that.
He's a corner. Like so.
Yeah.
Corners. That's what they do. I'll say this amongst all of us is, see, I'll apologize because one thing that we did. We was talking real crazy about the level of this defense, and what I'm starting to realize is you can't just compare defenses to all-time great
not even close
on potential.
Mike Singletary and Ray Lewis and
Lawrence Taylor,
Brooks and Lynch and all them dudes. They got them at every level, and them dudes will hold every if Ray Lewis, if you didn't get past Ray Lewis, you had to go see Ed Reed.
Right.
Like if Ed Reed didn't call.
Well, they had horses on the defensive line too.
You had Terrell. So I can't just put that on them because those dudes do it vocally.
Yeah.
They do it by their play. And they set a standard that's even higher than what the coaches do.
Nobody has a defense like that now. Nobody. Those. We shouldn't even compare anybody to those defenses.
So it really is not really about that. It is about when you play this game or any game. I don't care. It's not about how much money you make. At some point of the game, it's a core about this.
Guess he didn't play well.
You're not gonna do me right.
No.
And so what it looked like, and here's the problem, G. When you get the bag, right? When you get the bag, right? There's a tendency when you get the bag, and for those who don't know, the bag is the money. When you get the money, right? There's a tendency that people say you fall off because I'm in the penthouse now.
You get complacent.
I'm good.
Can we put that? Can we put that graphic?
Yeah,
back
so
up,
much
Steve?
for my thoughts that he played a better game.
That's
he
why
obviously did not.
That's why I brought it up, Bull. In just watching him yesterday, I don't know if there's something else going on in his life. I don't know if there's something else going on that he's not happy with the defense. But
Jay,
you can't be a $100 million corner and be the lowest graded cornerback in the NFL.
Now it's a small sample size and it's 3 games and things turn around.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to judge a whole.
No. He's got a high upside. Here's the problem.
But he's not playing well enough, obviously.
Here's the problem. Did you see how many times they targeted him yesterday?
Yeah, they was going
Yes.
We picking on you.
Right.
We're on you.
And that
we're not on Newsom. You the weak. When they target you, that means you the weakling. They think you the weakling.
MJ Emerson, I'm gonna tell you what.
No, we love him.
This dude is a. Ask Tyvis, what do you think about Emerson? Yeah, get on that text machine because that boy is big. He's aggressive. He goes after the ball, and sometimes you got to show these dudes. They college tape.
Yeah.
You got to say, hey, that's what you used to be. See, sometimes losing wear you down, and you forget you make plays. Denzel Ward, I remember Denzel Ward in a tie game baiting Big Ben Roethlisberger. 2 interceptions that game in that tie in the rain, the first game of the season. I'm saying this dude is a first-round pick, and he's baiting Big Ben, and this was prime Big Ben.
Yeah. But, gee, I look at it as, and hopefully I will not turn out to be wrong, I look at it as Denzel Ward's a good player who's not playing good right now.
I give you that.
Right. That's how I see it.
I don't think he's garbage.
I agree with that.
He's not a bad player. He's a good player who's not playing well right now.
Confidence thing, Brad,
when you're not playing well, someone has to hold you accountable because you can fool yourself like, oh, I'm playing real well. No, you're not. Here's the mirror, but again, it's that person I told that's
well, to your point, Brad.
It's the person I told that's on the team.
Yeah,
it's not the coach that checks you.
Yeah.
You're not living up to this thing here. And then the thing is that the public, what gets screwed up in the public is because you got the money, the first idea and thought is that, well, you laying down because you got the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that may not be the case to what you were saying. There might be something else going on.
I don't think it is the case.
Right.
I don't want
that labeled on him.
He's not that guy. He's not the guy that's going to say, I'm paid, I'm set, I'm good, I'm done. As I'm looking at him, I don't know how to explain it. That's why I'm asking you. Sometimes a player's confidence can get dinged.
Yeah,
His confidence has to be at a low.
It seems that way. He was defensive on Twitter last week.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm hoping that it's a head problem and not a body problem. So he can't be getting old. He's too young for that.
Yeah.
The physical gifts are still there. I think it might be a case where he's seen the tape. He knows he was the reason. He got defensive on Twitter. He called it fake news. It's in his head now.
And he knows that he got paid, and maybe he's feeling some pressure. Like,
maybe.
hey, I got it.
That happens all the time.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe.
That happens all the time.
So, Brad, how does a player get out of that confidence smear?
So I don't think the player can get himself out the smear without help, right? So what I would do if I was a coach, right, I put him in a position to be successful. I think Denzel Ward looked much better when he was in man-to-man, like sitting on the line.
Yep.
I'm not waiting 10 yards off of you.
Right.
I'm sitting here right you. This is who I have, right? So what DeQuell said here, you're going to cut off the field. We're going to take you out the equation, right? Put that on him. You're going to be that guy here. And I'm going to build his confidence back because what happens is, Jay, and I'm glad you said it because, see, sometimes when you get the money, you put more pressure on yourself to live up to the money. The money and play, that's two different things. Yeah. I got the money because of body of work. I said, but if I think I'm going to play to that money, like, I got to make a play because I got $100 million. I got to make a play. It's not going to work because you're going to have too much. You're going to succumb
Maybe that's what's going on for him right now.
Succumb to yourself.
McNuggets, you say you got something?
You got the Stefanski quote?
Not the Stefanski quote, but I do have the PFF grades on defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you think was the highest rated PFF graded player on the Browns yesterday?
Phillips?
Nope. Not in top 5.
No kidding.
If Myles Garrett is number 1, yep. See, that just goes to prove.
Myles Garrett is and I got more flack than I've gotten since I've been in Cleveland for a tweet I said yesterday, which was, is Myles Garrett playing in the first half? And
there's a lot of things we don't see.
He was the highest rated player.
I feel like we need one of the PFF guys to kind of explain that to
John
us.
Costco.
We'll get John Costco on next week. We'll
get John for
Costco
PFF.
He's on my show every week.
DeQuell said,
Yeah.
when I asked what was going on, 2 tackles, he said he impacts the game on every play.
Right.
I guess we don't see it.
Because he's getting double, triple team, making things easier for other guys. I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. Like, when I watch Aaron Donald and when I watch Von Miller and when I watch these other...
They're double teamed every play, too.
They get the doubles, and
That's my issue.
and I know they're in the game. I feel their impact in a meaningful way. Now, he did have a quarterback hit last night. He just missed getting the sack.
But you have to have your others.
Right.
Your
Make the
others
plays,
get
and they're
home.
not.
When your others get home, then you can feel the impact.
Right, sure.
Because now it's like, oh, well, we blocking him with 2-3 people.
What was his
Guys,
grade?
hold on. Before you continue on that, this is an important quote for Kevin Stefanski. It does not sound good for Anthony Walker Jr. It's just Kevin Stefanski just a minute ago. Quote, it didn't look good, and they're hoping against hope that Anthony Walker's knee injury isn't long-term. Quote, he's a huge, huge part of our football team. So when he says hoping against hope, that doesn't sound good.
The way they lifted him up and put him in the mobilizer and put him on that cart, I was like, oh, that's not good.
Did anybody see, did they do the tug test on him? I didn't see that.
No,
That was off camera. I was looking for, we'd be looking for
I was looking for it. We both had that done. And you know
what it is.
When you tear it, you've done it. I've done it 3 times. You know the instant, and you know the instant that it's torn. You know it.
Knock on wood. I've been all right.
There's it's a bad injury, but you typically know it. But the trainer will grab.
Yeah, I know it. I've seen it.
And they tug, and then they look at each other, and then they'll ask someone else to do it. Are you feeling the same thing I'm feeling? And I could tell by the look on the trainer's face.
That leads us into the next section. If Anthony Walker, because he was starting to assume that role.
Yeah, I don't know.
You better go out and get an Ndamukong Suh because we're gonna need some people here. Because this thing is soft in the middle. It's real. Because I'm gonna tell you who I was surprised at. I was watching JOK yesterday before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I was
He
like,
was not playing well.
oh my God.
And they had him rated.
You coming off like an ND dude. That's what you coming off like. That's exactly what you coming off like.
Because he missed the first 3 or 4 plays of the game. He missed 2-3 tackles.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yes!
I was like, well, you didn't bring him down.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if you're going to have, and they don't be understanding, if you're going to have light linebackers,
He light.
light speed linebackers,
And that's what they like.
they like them. You gotta have thoroughbreds in the middle, like, because you gotta keep them dudes clean and free. Why do you? And I see Taven Bryan.
Not getting it done.
Listen, not even getting it done. I seen their guard knock him 5 ways sideways. That's even more
How many ways?
disrespectful. Sideways is disrespectful because your legs get crossed like this, like you sit in
How'd it
Indian
get
style, like this. You sit like you curtsying and something. Like you, how do you do, Queen? He got knocked sideways.
Jay crazy.
How do you do? I was like, get him out of here, coach. Somebody. Listen, they walked right. I said he got fired. I said we got to do something.
So we need Sue, don't we?
We need
Who
Sue,
got the other top
Jane,
grades, Mikey, on PFF?
Amber.
No, and Dominic and Sue.
Yeah, we need all of
We need
them.
a boy named Sue.
Golly,
To
man.
quote Johnny Cash.
It
Who are
is.
the other top 5 grades, by the way?
The top 5 grades, Myles Garrett, who had averaged a 91.4 the first 2 weeks,
Ooh.
had an 81.2 yesterday. So
Okay.
even though he was still the best, that was 10 points below his
That
first
ain't
Yeah,
two
that's
saying
not
games.
much.
great. It's
That ain't
good.
saying much.
Yeah.
Tony Fields, the safety,
Yeah.
number 42,
Yeah.
was second,
played well.
79.9. Taki third, 70.2.
Yeah, Taki
Greg
was over there.
Newsome fourth, 66.8.
Oh, we
John
don't go to the
Johnson.
60s. We can't get to the 60s.
Isn't that funny? Like
don't
Jacob
go-
Phillips, we all thought played well. He put up traditional stats, and he's not even on. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. In John, see, I got John Costco on every single week on the
Yeah.
barbershop for the preview show, right? And we go over all the grades and stuff. He said, when you talk about the Pro Football Focus, they count missed assignments and they count missed tackles. If you got a missed assignment or you're not in your gap, something small to regular people, that's you getting that graded off.
You get a ding.
That's a ding, and it's hard to come back from 2-3
You got
missed tackles.
a couple dings.
How do they know for sure on every play?
Yeah, because for them to decide that you missed your assignment, they have to know what your assignment was.
Well, you
They're
can
guesstimate-
you can
guessing.
decipher.
Yeah.
You can decipher for what the rest of the 3 guys are
So
going.
you
Because
decide-
everybody has to have a gap.
So you decipher when JOK missed the tackle?
Yeah.
All right, you
Well,
decipher-
that's
you
the eye
decipher-
test.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
decipher when the other one got body slammed, right?
Oh, that counts.
Oh my God.
All that counts.
Curtsy's 20 points off.
That
right off the
curtsy.
way.
Oh yeah.
20-point ding.
Oh, lady to the queen,
Oh yeah.
minus 20.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. To me, it's one of the biggest because, like you said, I ain't just talking about today. I'm
yeah.
talking about moving forward.
Your body of work.
These is nice little games. I give you that. But I'm gonna tell you what. When you start dealing with Leonard Fournette and Tom Brady and Mike Evans and Godwin
And then the Bills.
and then the Bills run quarterback power.
The Chargers.
They'll just run straight quarterback power.
Yeah.
And be like, stop
Bengals,
on it.
Ravens, Dolphins.
We
The
are not in a
offenses are getting better.
position to give any games away
No.
here, right?
No.
And we
I
just-
think it's a race to 6 for Jacoby. That's why the Jets lost, even though it's behind
Right.
us and we're not
That
supposed to think
hurts.
about it. If you're at 3 in, you
have-
can go 3-5 over the next 8, and you can still hand the team over
And have a chance.
And have a
Have a
chance
chance,
with
yeah.
Watson.
Yeah.
But in the race to 6, I don't know where the next 4 come from. I mean,
here the game against Atlanta is critical now.
they've got to win.
Got it.
Atlanta stinks. You got to beat
that's-
Atlanta. You got to beat New
We're
England. I don't think New
not in
England's
a
very
position
good.
to
you're
say
right.
we're not. I don't think the Browns are in any position to say anybody stinks, right? I think
No, they're not.
We're in a position where we got to play 60 minutes every Sunday.
But they can
Of
look at that
course.
schedule and they can say definitively
the
2 with the Bengals, the 2 with the Ravens, the Chargers.
You got the Dolphins
the
coming.
Bills,
The Dolphins. The Dolphins look like I don't know.
Chiefs, the Bucks.
Hey, they got that. They got that Tyreek Hill cheat card. They
God.
got 2 of them.
Tyreek Hill is unleashed Waddle, right?
Yeah,
they
now
watching-
Waddle- what
Now
do
they
you have,
watching
almost
Tyreek
200
Hill.
yards receiving.
Now Waddle like running crazy.
Now think about that. You think about what your
That's why you gotta have balance.
What your secondary is going to be up against. You talking about the Dolphins. You talking about the Bengals are coming back with all their receivers. It's just the Bills. I don't even want to think about it. You're gonna need to have supreme ball control.
And
if you think you're gonna give the Bills 50, 60 possessions, no.
How many turnovers has the Browns defense forced this year?
That one that ended
I
the
know
game
the
don't
answer.
Yeah,
count.
that
What's the
was-
answer,
I
Mike?
mean, now It's now
Throw that
2.
one out of the mix because it was a
That was a bogus
Then it's
one.
just
yeah.
one real one.
So the sack fumble, right, last week.
So you,
2, I take that back. The interception of Baker as well.
So to G's point about what's coming down the pipeline here, down the pike. Well, the defensive side got to get strong. The DB's got to know it's coming because I just thought about something when you said that. Remember Chase said, "I'm waiting for you."
Oh yeah.
Chase told him, "I'm waiting for you."
Newsom, he told Newsom and Ward.
I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Bengals have their own problems.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They could be 0-3.
Can you speak to that, Bull?
The
Can
number
you
of
speak
teams
to
that make the playoffs that start 0-3.
No, they won't be 0-3. They'll
What
handle the
is
Jets.
it the hangover? What is it?
No, it's not the hangover. The thing I underestimated is
the line.
It's 4 new starters. And even though they're much more talented than they were last year, there's a chemistry issue because they also didn't practice a lot because 2 of those guys were hurt for part of camp, and so they didn't play much. And they have faced 2 good pass rushing defenses, because you had to deal with T.J. Watt in the first game, and you had to deal with what's his name on the Cowboys,
Micah Parsons.
and those guys just both wreaked havoc. In the end, though, as bad the Bengals line, hideous the first 2 games, and yet they missed an extra point, or they would have won the first game, and they were tied in the second.
And they missed the field goal in overtime. And they would have won it.
Burrow is looking like he's irritated. Have you seen his face when he goes to the sideline?
Well, because he's not used to this.
He is used to it. He got crushed the whole year last year.
He's irritated.
No. I'm not talking about the getting hit part. I'm talking about the losing. He didn't lose at LSU. He didn't lose even at Cincinnati.
His first year he lost, but then he got hurt.
But last year he flipped it around.
It's 2 games. I'm not. I mean, their defense is actually playing well.
They got problems.
They don't really have. I think it's overstated. They don't really have problems besides the offensive line.
I still don't like. I don't want to. To me, it's a bunch of people in this division going to be 3-3. I don't think nobody is getting.
Too early to ask if there's one team that looks like they're the class of the division?
No.
I don't think there is.
Because everybody stubbed their toe.
I mean,
the Browns and the Ravens, to me, look like they're 1 and 1A. I don't think the Steelers are going to be a factor. I know the Bengals will get it together, but
I think in the end it'll still be the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Browns all pretty close with the Steelers behind.
Very close.
But we'll see. I mean, I could certainly be wrong. I mean, the Bengals' really problem is their line, and I assume because they have better talent than they had last year that it will get better. But
we got to go to McNuggets. I want to ask you a question that I meant to ask you last week and I didn't. Do you get more riled up for a Bengals game or a Browns game? Because your passion for a Browns game seems higher or just as high as Browns fans themselves.
It's hard for me to explain because it doesn't really make sense. I never, I don't know. Personally, I get riled up for both. Like when I'm watching the game,
but
I don't
one over the other.
But we don't really talk about we're not generally talking about the Bengals. Like if I were working in Cincinnati, I'd be more worked up about the things I don't like about the Bengals. Like I don't think their coach is very good. I don't think the owner has spent enough money and committed enough to the team. Although he's done a better job the last couple of years. But yeah, I mean, when I watch both games, I'm very passionate. I'm fired up. I'm yelling and screaming at the TV. I do all of that. I kind of have 2 teams. It's weird.
I do think it'd make it great behind the scenes. I know we get to see them.
It's just so weird.
That's crazy.
But what's funny is, as a kid, I never hated the Browns. I hated the Steelers. Always hated the Steelers. I never hated the Browns because my dad liked the Browns when he was a young kid.
Yeah.
And he just switched teams because of Paul Brown.
Right.
And so I kind of had
You followed your dad's allegiances.
I always kind of followed the Browns too, and I never rooted against them unless they played the Bengals.
Right.
Even before I ever thought I'd come to Cleveland.
I think it'd make a great story if we had a camera crew at Bull's house for a Browns game, because we do get to experience it in the 2-minute warning show, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, even last night, there was drama again.
Yeah.
And it's going to be that way all year. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, every week at the 2-minute warning of the Browns game, these 3 knuckleheads, along with Jeff from Lockdown Browns.
Sponsored by Miller Lite.
Come on. Was he last night?
Sponsored by Miller
Last night
Lite.
was definitely sponsored.
He claims he was sober.
He did. But the Miller Lite.
I had people texting me, like I know him and I don't, but I had people texting me saying, your boy is a 6-pack in right now. But anyhow, that's another reason to watch. It's fun. And I don't mean Adam, I mean Jeff.
Yeah.
But go to the YouTube page. If you're watching us right now, you're already there.
Yeah.
you have to subscribe and you have to click the notification bell for two reasons. One, so you get notified when the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show takes the air, but also because of breaking news. So, for instance, if there's a big trade, if something major happens with either the Cavs, the Guardians, or the Browns, we bust in and we go live. And the only way you're going to know that is if you subscribe and notify.
Yeah.
So do that. And if you're missing the 2-minute warning.
Oh, you're missing great
You're
stuff.
missing the best, most drama-laden show in the history of YouTube.
All 3 games have still been in doubt at the 2-minute warning.
2 of them swung twice.
And yesterday, McNuggets, like he's going on giving his speech, and they're like, McNuggets, the game isn't over. They're kicking the
Did you declare
onside
them a
kick.
winner again?
No, they were
But we
telling me
don't
in the chat
believe in
though. There was a
jinxes
lot of
on- we don't
McNuggets
believe
here.
in
Jinx,
jinxes,
shut up.
McNuggets.
So